This is Dave Mann of Lottodds. It is November 14th, 2018. I want to show you something that the majority of people out there who play the lottery, especially Mega Millions, uh, don't know. And this is why most of them, all of them, will never win Mega Millions because they don't know how to play and they don't know how to choose numbers. And what really hit home is when I saw the $1.6 billion prize for Mega Millions. And I saw this woman on TV, which she went into a store and she dropped over $10,000 on Mega Millions. I mean, how stupid was that? Um, I'm sure that woman had no strategy, didn't understand how to pick lottery numbers, and she just basically threw her money away. It's like going to the beach, taking that $10,000 and throwing it out in the ocean, hoping to hit a fish. And that is absolutely ridiculous and foolish. And when I saw that, I said, "Oh, this woman just threw her money away, over $10,000. I wonder how she feels when she woke up, knew that she didn't win." And I'm sure there's a lot of people out there doing that. And what boggles my mind is that you see these lines, hordes of people um, going buying Mega Million tickets and trying to win the $1.6 billion lottery. Yet, and they'll spend hundreds, even thousands of dollars. Yet they don't even take the time to learn how to choose lottery numbers. And this is what boggles my mind. If you're going to throw hundreds of thousands of dollars, don't you think an intelligent person would sit down and study how lottery numbers work and know how to pick lottery numbers before you wind up throwing your money away? Because that's literally what you're doing. I'm going to show you something here that probably 99.99% people do not know. And most of them, the majority of them, lost the lottery before they even bought their ticket. Okay, I'm going to show you one thing here. This is one type of patterns, lottery patterns that, for example, Mega Millions sits on, um, amongst many other patterns. But this is one that's going to show you and really hit home um, how people really don't know what the heck they're doing when they choose lottery numbers. And Lottodds is meant to teach them how to choose proper lottery numbers to have the highest chance of winning, teach you pattern recognition. Lottodds doesn't predict the future. Lottodds is a tool that you can utilize to help you recognize patterns, strong patterns that allow you to pick lottery numbers that have the highest chance of winning. And to reduce, for example, I believe Mega Millions has what, a little over 13 million numbers. 13 million numbers. Lottodds will reduce that by millions of numbers that you'd not play and even never play. All right, so what I'm introducing you right now and what you see in front of you is called group patterns. Okay, group patterns. For example, in Mega Millions, you have numbers 1 to 70, right? And there's five positions: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So in the first position, you could have 1 to 14, and second 1 to 14, a third 1 to 14, fourth 1 to 14, fifth to 114, and the group patterns could continue, continue, continue. Let me try to give you an example of that. Hold on a second. All right, here. Take a look at this. All right. So let's see here. I believe this was November. Let's go back to a recent one. Okay, this is November 13th, 2018, right? So the winning number for Mega Millions was 8, 14, 27, 57, 67, right? All right, so here's the pattern here. Look at the group pattern. For these numbers, they represent this group pattern. They represent group pattern 93. And let me just show you something. The total group patterns that are in Mega Millions is 100 126 patterns. 126 patterns. You see that I darkened them out because they're not going to be part of this example. But there's 126 group patterns in Mega Millions. that if you're going to start picking lottery numbers, say for in Mega Millions, this is where you should start. You should start here with the group patterns and trying to identify which group patterns are most likely to win the most and come out the most. Okay? If you cannot determine what group pattern, okay, will most likely win, then you are never going to win Mega Millions. You'll never win. Okay? So this is where you start first. Okay? And here. So let's see here. You know what? I want to bring up. Hold on. I want to bring up. What was the last what was that? What was the $1.6 billion lottery draw? Don't remember when that was. This is 70 million. Okay, hold on a second. This was 52 million. Okay, hold on. 52 million, 45 million. 5 million. 26, 40 million. 40 million. Here it is. Here it is. Here it is. $1.6 billion. These were the winning numbers. So this was on, let's see, 5/28/62. 5/28/62. Here it is. Here it is. 5/28/62, 65, 70, 70. Okay. So this was the group pattern with the 5 numbers. Okay. The red, the blue, and the 3 blacks. Okay. It was 113. It was group pattern 113. If you could not even get that before you even choose your numbers, if you couldn't even get this group pattern right, okay, you would never win. Okay? This is where you start out first, right there. Okay? And then let me show you something. Now, say for example, you wanted to, all these individuals, probably millions of them, started their numbers out with digits starting from 1 to 14 in the first number position right there, as you see, right? Okay, well, I want to show you something. So you're dealing with way less numbers than 100, way less group patterns than 126, right? But look at this. This is I did a study from January 2018, right? Let's go here. So it's I did a study from January 2nd, 2018, all the winning numbers, to November 13th, 2018, right? And this is the results I got, and they're very interesting. What it showed me almost for a year now, look what group patterns never hit. Look at that. Even if you started your number from 1 to 14, okay? And remember, the winning number for the 1.5 billion was a 5, the first number. So the first number would have been the red, right? How many people, how many millions of people picked these groups? 3, 4, 5, 7, 9, 10, 12, 14, 16, 19. Look at all this. 22, 24, 25, 27. Look at all these groups that start with the red, right? Look at them all. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Right? How many people? Look at that. Look at that. And it keeps going. Look at that. That never produced a winner. Never produced a winner. These people walked into the store, dropped hundreds or thousands of dollars, and never won. In fact, I should say, they lost before they even bought their ticket. They lost before they even bought their ticket. So let me go back to this thing again. Hold on a second. So we were talking about the winning number, right, for the 1.5 billion was here, right there, 113. Group pattern 113. So look at group pattern 113. It was all the way down here. 113. Right there, my friend. Look what's interesting about 113. Before the 1 before the $1.6 billion prize was given out. Okay, let's look at this. 113 was hit here. Look when 113 was hit again. Look, 113. Let's see here. 113. 113. Let's keep going. When did it previously hit? 113. 113. 113. Hold on. Let me just check that one. Wow, look at that. Hit back to back right after it hit for the $1.6 billion. It hit again back to back. Okay? Now, with the 113, look at that. 115 hit right near it. And then you had 108, right? And look at 113 hit twice, the pattern. Look at 108 hit twice. Look at 103 hit 3 times. And almost here, 3 times. And look at these other ones, right? Look at now, look at this, what's interesting. You see these group patterns from 66? Look at that. 66 to 77? Look how the wins are concentrated on these group patterns. You got 2 here hits in the same group pattern. You got 2 hits. You got 4. This group pattern alone in less than a year hit 4 times. 4 times. Shouldn't people be playing these patterns? These group patterns and picking them number from utilizing this group patterns? Look at this. 2 hit here. 3 hit here. So it's very concentrated in the middle here, you see? So that's how you start picking your numbers. Look at this. This 8 hit 3 times. 13 hit 2 times. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting that these other group patterns can hit 3 times, 2 times, even 4 times? Even 4 times? Okay? Yet you have group patterns that never hit? That never hit? Look at all the ones that never hit. Look at them. Yet millions of people out there are playing these group patterns and they have little to no chance of winning. And they don't even understand that they lost before they even won. Okay? So now this is just a glimpse of what we're going to be implementing in the new Lottodds website. Okay? This is just one filter. It's called a group pattern filter. And it's going to help you first learn how to recognize group patterns and pick the right ones that you should be playing with. Then we're going to start going into additional filters. For example, the low high, odd evens, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 patterns for Megamillions, and then the sum patterns. Just like you saw in pick 3 in my last video, how the sum, right, connected to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pattern, okay, will produce just a certain amount of numbers that you could play. And they will always produce a winner when these two match. Okay? So the issue right now that we're working on is we know that Mega Million is predictable. It is predictable within a group of numbers. I'm going to repeat that. Okay? Mega Millions, winning lottery number, is predictable within a group of numbers. Meaning not a single number you select, but a group of numbers. The question we're working on to resolve right now is how large of a group number that is. You know, is it 100,000? Is it 50,000? Is it less? So we're working on that because when you start out with this group patterns, right, and it's going to reduce them by millions if you work in this area right here, okay? It'll reduce them by millions. But then when you start adding additional filters, odd even filters, high-low filters, sum filters, consecutive number filters, pairs filters, when you add all that in, it reduces it drastically. But we don't expect that it's going to reduce it where you're going to get 10 numbers left. You probably get a few thousand numbers left. That's why to win Mega Millions, we're going to set up a lotto club. And people are going to be able to purchase a lottery number. So they're going to be charts where they're going to be buttons on it. And when one member clicks the button to buy it, a PayPal button will pop up. You pay for that number, and that number is going to be locked. So the next member that comes in can't purchase the identical number. Okay? Someone else will have to click another button that's available, purchase another number. So until we deplete all the available numbers, and then we will win Mega Millions because we're establishing. This is fishing, just like that woman, the scenario I gave you where she took $10,000 and threw it out in the ocean and tried to hit a fish. Well, we're going to take that ocean, right, and we're going to reduce it down to a small pond. So when we throw our money into that pond, we have a better chance of hitting Mega Millions. And with enough people, you hear me? With enough people, we will win Mega Million. And not once, multiple times throughout the year. And that's guaranteed. A lot of people go say, how can you guarantee this? How can you guarantee that? Well, let me tell you something. When we release the new website, I'm going to show you how I can guarantee it. Again, with enough people. With enough people, because there's going to be thousands of numbers, not millions. All right? And we'll have a higher chance of winning. And I'm going to show you a strategy that we're going to implement, a net that we're going to create. These numbers, these patterns, will design our net, our fishing net, that we're going to cast out into the pond, right? That's going to catch that fish, okay? And you could disbelieve it all you want, but this is math, this is logic, this is common sense. And like I said, the motto on Lotto odds is for intelligent people. You know, there are people out there whose IQs are very low, and no matter how many times you try to explain it to them, they'll never understand. And that's okay. That's okay, because Lotto odds is for intelligent lottery players. Good luck.